If you do business with the Department of Defense or want to, you've probably heard about CMMC. But what exactly is it? Why does it exist? Who needs it? And what does it actually take to become certified? In the next 5 minutes, I'll explain CMMC 2.0 from start to finish. Let's start with the problem. For years, sophisticated nation-state attackers realized that breaking into Lockheed Martin or Raytheon was incredibly difficult. Instead, they targeted the thousands of small suppliers that make parts, write software, provide engineering services, or support the defense industrial base. These companies often had valuable technical data but much weaker cybersecurity. One of the most well-known examples involved data related to the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, where attackers compromised contractors in the supply chain rather than attacking the prime contractor directly. The Department of Defense recognized that protecting only the largest contractors wasn't enough. Every company handling sensitive defense information had to meet a minimum cybersecurity baseline. That became the foundation for CMMC. The journey actually started years before CMMC. In 2016, the DoD introduced DFARS 252.204-7012, requiring contractors that handle controlled unclassified information, or CUI, to implement the security controls in NIST SP 800-171. The problem? Companies largely self-attested. Many claimed compliance without fully implementing the required controls. As a result, the DoD introduced the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, or CMMC. The original version was quite complex. In 2021, it was simplified into CMMC 2.0, reducing the number of maturity levels while keeping the focus on implementing the 110 security requirements from NIST 800-171. The biggest change is this: companies can no longer simply say they're compliant. For many contracts, they'll need an independent assessment before they're eligible to receive contract awards. There are two types of information you'll hear about. First is Federal Contract Information, or FCI. This is information created or provided by the government that isn't intended for public release but isn't highly sensitive. Then there's Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI. CUI includes technical drawings, engineering specifications, manufacturing processes, military program information, and other sensitive data that isn't classified but still requires protection. Most companies pursuing CMMC Level 2 are protecting CUI. If your company performs work for the Department of Defense, or plans to, you should determine whether your contracts involve FCI or CUI. Beginning in 2025 and continuing through the next several years, CMMC requirements are being added to DoD contracts in phases. If a solicitation requires CMMC certification, you generally won't be eligible for award unless you've achieved the required certification level. For many defense contractors, CMMC is becoming a business requirement, not just a cybersecurity initiative. Achieving CMMC is much more than writing policies. Organizations typically need to define the scope of systems handling CUI, inventory users, devices, and cloud services, implement multi-factor authentication, secure endpoints with EDR and antivirus, configure logging and continuous monitoring, encrypt sensitive information, manage vulnerabilities and patching, create security policies and procedures, train employees, collect evidence showing these controls are actually operating. Many organizations also perform a readiness assessment before pursuing certification to identify any remaining gaps. The goal isn't just to pass an audit, it's to build a security program that operates continuously. Once you're ready, you'll work with a certified third-party assessment organization, or C3PAO. The assessor reviews your documentation, interviews personnel, examines technical evidence, and verifies that the required security controls are implemented and operating effectively. They're looking for objective evidence, not promises or plans. If everything meets the requirements, your organization receives CMMC certification. So here's the takeaway. CMMC exists because attackers increasingly target smaller defense contractors as a path into larger defense programs. It builds on DFARS and NIST 800-171, protects sensitive government information like CUI, and requires many contractors to demonstrate compliance through an independent assessment. While achieving certification requires planning, technology, documentation, and operational discipline, organizations that prepare early will be in the best position to continue competing for DoD contracts. If you'd like help understanding where your organization stands, or you're looking for a faster, more affordable path to CMMC certification, when at Espresso Labs, we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more cybersecurity and CMMC insights.